We are live, back once again, Uncut and Unfiltered. We are here at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival.
Yeah!
Second half, we are joined by Liv. If you didn't fucking hear it, give us a hey-o.
Heyo.
Oh. I was expecting a bit more after
Sorry,
the big
heyo.
hey-o.
There you go.
So, Liv, welcome back. For everyone who hasn't already seen the episode that we did with Liv a few weeks ago, we did an awesome episode with Whiskey Liv right here. She took us through her whiskey journey. You can watch that right here. However, we are here today at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival. We're getting stuck into the second session. Ian, Stevie here.
All right.
As fuck.
Oh,
hello.
well,
Yeah.
A second class citizen lives here.
Well, second class citizens, just a second thought, to be honest.
Oh.
You know? I was
Second
joking,
thought.
gents. Absolutely pleasure to be here with you. And this episode's going to be focusing a little bit on basically 3 cool drams from the festival, right? We've got 3 super cool people, 3 super cool drams, and we're just going to have a bit of a quick fire run through them. So, first and foremost is Whiskey Liv. And what? I'm just going to hand over to you, my guy.
Yeah, so, hello. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure. After last time, how could we not?
Oh, thanks. So, I've been around the festival.
So,
I've done my kind of rounds. I've tried a few special drams, had a few of those under the table drams. And speaking of under the table drams, I got to collectors competitions.
okay.
They do like the ballot whiskey competition things.
Aye.
And I got a chance to them and they were like, let me give you my under the table dram.
Nice.
Which is this lovely, like secret Speyside single malt, 17 years old, Macallan.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
Right,
I was going to say, so talk to us. For the people at home, what is a secret space hive?
right, so
You've kind of jobbed in already. It's a Macallan.
Well,
yeah.
But obviously, Liv, you've worked with independent bottlers before. Secret space hive. Talk to us about that a little bit. What it could
Yeah.
mean.
So
you know.
obviously it's Macallan, but it's been taken into the care of Signatory Vintage in this case. Quite often I think the Macallan, when it's bottled by indie bottlers or it's bottled by someone that is a Macallan, obviously, it can actually be a lot more interesting. That's maybe a very controversial comment, but like, I think they're just have a lot more to give
Okay.
with someone nurturing it in a less volume setting, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So this is a very kind of classic Macallan. It's 17 years old, so better on the other side. But it's got that classic kind of sherry finish, Oloroso sherry. But to me, it was a lot more kind of oomph than even like the 18-year-old Macallan, just standard Macallan.
Well, it's cask strength, is it
Yeah,
not?
yeah, it's
And this is the
cask strength.
thing. When we talk about oomph, you know, a full-bodied Macallan matured in sherry, left
And
at
again-
its natural cask
Yeah.
strength,
Yeah.
is going to sing a lot more, right?
Yep.
So sorry, this is a sherry finish?
Oh,
Pop.
pop.
Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah,
This is sherry finish.
yeah.
What sort of sherry?
Oloroso.
Oloroso finish.
Oloroso sherry, but it's got a cast number. That's another thing I quite like. Obviously, I'm a
Nice.
big indie bottler fan, but like, I love that they give you a lot of information. Signatory don't give you as much information as some other indie bottlers do, but you know, the info's still there. But I just thought, like, well, I've not actually poured you two one yet, so pass them over. Pass them over and I'll pour you one. But I honestly just thought, I tried it, and like, if I would maybe guess it was Macallan, obviously by the name, kind of like Secret Speyside. But I just thought it was so interesting compared to just the Macallan that you normally get out there.
just a little top up.
There's a little stuff.
Just a little bit in the top there, please, my
These
darling.
ones,
And that
have got
shows that he liked it.
So much.
all of these
Yeah, I've already
bottles-
tried this off camera. If that wasn't clear, Liv very kindly came over and said, I found this. Because in fairness, you did find about 4 different drams that we had tried, right?
Yeah.
It was a tough one, Liv finding her dream dram of the day because we had tried all of them. But this was a very good find and fair fucking play to you. So sorry, I just want to go back to something. Is this a sherry finish or just a... No,
I think
sorry.
it's very
Yeah.
but
It's just a...
That's what I mean, sorry.
Sorry. No. Just so that I'm clear on it, because I'm a little bit weird when it comes to this sort of thing.
there's been a bunch of these recently, and they've all got a dirty little hint on them as to why you know it's Macallan.
Yeah.
The M in
Big
brackets.
M, yeah.
So, this is Speyside, 17-year-old, distilled in 2005, bottled in 23. It's a first fill Oloroso sherry butt. Gives the denotation of the cask number, etc., etc. But Ian is absolutely correct. For some reason, there is an M in brackets. What does that denote?
I wonder why that could be.
Perhaps it denotes that it's a Macallan.
Well, it could be one of the other Speyside distilleries that begins.
Or
with
it could
It
just
could be
be
a
that it's
Mannockmore.
It could be.
so good. Who knows? But I think it's a safe bet, Liv. You're probably right.
Yeah.
This is Macallan, single cask, 57.5%. Whop. Get that in your glass. And I mean, straight away, on the nose, you've got old school, sherry matured.
Yeah.
I would say certainly high quality liquid, but you've got
I think
Macallan notes coming
it's
through,
old
right?
school Macallan.
It is.
That's
It's
what
cool.
I like about it.
Yeah.
And do they
Just put that next to my Guinness.
they
so you can see
teaspoon
nicely.
it, or is it literally just?
No. So that's not what's
Right.
done with Macallan,
Yeah.
or certainly nothing that I've seen.
It's
Maybe
just
they do nowadays.
unnamed Macallan.
It's just
Yeah.
an unnamed brand. Yeah,
Gotcha,
correct.
gotcha.
Speyside single malt Scotch, and that's the key thing as well. It's single malt, right? So
Yeah.
when you're teaspooning, you're seeing blended malts.
Right, yeah.
But this is a single malt Scotch, 17-year-old. And I have to say, on the nose, yeah, it's just.
It's
very up
almost
there.
impossible to find an actual Macallan, certainly that's below kind of 25 to 30 years old in the indie market. And those 25 to 30 plus ones, they're all going to be $2-3 grand a bottle upwards, right? So,
Liv, out of interest, do you know what the RRP of this is? You didn't ask.
I didn't ask the RP.
Oh,
Sorry.
sacrilege.
no,
How are we
sorry,
supposed to
I
give it a
didn't
good
think.
vote?
So-
Stevie's going to find out.
they're about 140 quid, I think.
Okay. All right, Stevie's going to clarify 140 pounds-ish, but we're absolutely right. You know, as you say, you're looking at 20, 25, 30-year-old Macallan. All of a sudden, that name brings such a price tag with it that you are jumping into the thousands of pounds sort of, per bottle. So being able to buy something that may not be named as Macallan, but certainly tastes like Macallan, puts you in a really good position.
Anywhere from 140 quid up to 250 quid, depending what retailer you buy
Okay,
it from,
Yeah.
right?
140 upwards. Cool.
I think those 250s are kind of flipping their own shit. But
Oh yeah, no, of course.
for sure.
Of course.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's just such a premium malt. And for two reasons, right? Macallan is a fantastic liquid. It ages really, really nicely, but also they have such a good wood policy. And I think that this sort of old school, and I would classify this, I'm interested to hear your thoughts, I would classify this as an old school sherry bar. It has those really kind of old school notes, a little bit of rancio, cigar leaf, you've got plenty of oak in there as well, but it's like a nice oak. It's like a vintage oak
It's on the cusp for me though, that oak.
of getting too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It's quite strong. It's lovely.
yeah, it's
But they bottled it at the right time, but it is just like oak heavy there.
I definitely get the kind of like those oaky notes, but it's like oak spice. You know. But yeah, I definitely think like in terms of like value for money, what you're getting, as we're saying.
You didn't know how much it was a second
I
ago.
know, but like now that you've said that, and now that you've said that,
Oh, it is so good. It is good value for money,
now
right?
that you've said that, I'm like, yeah. Because
Very
like,
good value for money.
I just think generally with indie bottlers and that, what you are getting is quite often, not all the time, but quite often it's like very much a superior quality. Because like they have so few liquid compared to obviously the actual producer, so they've got to really cherish it.
Right.
That's what I love, and it's quite unique. And obviously I tried it, and I was like Macallan, but like it's just old school Macallan, as I say, not something that you find too often now. So
And is that what made you pick it?
yeah, so I just thought like obviously Macallan, they have this brand that's so hyped up. It's like Macallan ultra luxury, ultra premium, very elitist,
Okay.
right? Because that is really what they're putting across.
Well, this is the thing. I mean,
not
having
something I would
spoken
pick
to
up.
you before, I wouldn't have pegged you as a Macallan girl. Not that Macallan isn't lovely, not that you wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily, but because of that almost, like you said it yourself, elitist. I see
It's
you as...
gatekeeping whiskey. I don't like that.
Right. And I can appreciate exactly why. You're a young person. You want to be able to try different whiskies at accessible price points. You're fucking right. Macallan can be elitist, can be very guarded, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you picked this as the dram of the day. I mean, when it comes to sherried whiskey, is that old school style something that you look for particularly?
I
or-
love, well, you probably know from my ones that I had before, but I love like big, juicy, fruity, spicy finishes. So this just really had the spot for me on that. As I say, like the kind of spiciness and the kind of oaky woodiness, that can be a wee bit too much for you. To me, I'm kind of on the same level as you. Sometimes it is cusping on too much, but it's just kind of there. But I think I've not actually tried it with drop water yet. I think it would maybe benefit from a drop water for me.
Sure.
Because I'm also like, a lot of the time, I'm not a massive cask strength person. Like, yeah, cool, but I'll always add a bit of water.
Right.
But this one, like, I'd maybe be happy to drink it without water and with.
I tell you what, it's exactly 57.5 at cask strength, which is a very nice round number for anyone like me who likes nice round numbers.
Who likes numbers?
Weird thing to say, I don't know. But yeah, I know what you mean. I have to say, I'm going to enjoy dropping a bit of water into this in a second and seeing it open up a bit.
Yeah.
I can see where that overly oaked element comes in for you.
Yeah.
Is it kind of borderline or is it too much?
It kind of takes away from what I'd like to think I'd experience from it, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I start to get that sweetness, and it's just shrouded by that oak spice.
I mean,
So it is
17 years, and I have to say, going on 18 years because it was filled in July
Sorry,
2005.
is this exclusively matured?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay,
this is
yeah.
filled in July 2005, bottled in May 2023. So this is nearly 18 years old. And you'd almost argue, well, why didn't you wait the extra 2 months? Well, I would say exactly for that. It is starting to become overly oaked, right? I think first fill wood for this long,
Yeah.
it offers a really rich and kind of almost this like rambunctious dram that's kind of like climbing out.
You know
the
what it
glass
reminds
of
me of?
Go on.
Our Springbank. You know,
Right.
it's
Which
just
so
on
many
that-
people said, that's too much sherry.
it's
I loved
overcooked.
it.
Right, and for sure, and that's lovely to hear. But, and I agree with you. It's exactly that. It's that style of sherry.
Right just on that fucking cusp.
Right.
Any longer, you couldn't really do much with
It
it
starts
unless
to
like
ruin it. It takes away from it.
it would fuck
if
it.
anything.
Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Did
Yeah,
they
no,
water
I-
this down, do you know, or
No, this cask strength.
it is cast strength?
57.5.
Okay.
Yep, 17. Like
I mean,
say,
listen, it's
very
nice that
close
it's
to
at
18.
cast strength. That's a
It's
lovely
definitely-
novelty to have, as like we've all discussed in the past. However, I reckon it could do with a splash of water, right?
I had a splash.
But then would that affect the price point? Would that affect how people would perceive it when buying it, you know?
Well, I mean, I think the M has been added to justify the price as much as anything else, right? 17-year-old Secret Speyside for £140 suddenly doesn't seem like such good value when it's not a Macallan, right? But a 17-year-old Macallan for £140 suddenly seems like fucking good value. That is the bonkers like nature of the whiskey industry, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And Liv, you're totally right about the whole like gatekeeping thing. And you look at what they're doing. They've got partnerships with Bentley, or whatever. Jay doesn't know what I'm talking about. He's not on the internet enough.
I missed what you said. Sorry, dude.
Not even listening.
Somebody caught my eye.
I get, honestly, right, I do get it, because that is their brand, and like they want it to be very luxury, and
Yeah,
they want
it
it to be
is.
very exclusive, that sort of thing. But I think with the whole term of exclusivity in whiskey, I think there's a way to go about it. And like to me, like as a brand, sometimes it doesn't feel very approachable, if that makes sense, because it is very elitist. And they make that very much so in their branding. So when you see it like independently bottled,
I'll put some water
that's a bit comforting to you, because you're like, all right, this is
It
accessible
doesn't
to me.
dampen that.
And actually,
You know what I mean?
you're probably getting the same, if not greater value for money than you would with, say, buying an 18-year-old Macallan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thought it was a win. Like,
I think also the fact that you can still get indie bottles like this also hopefully at some point goes to educate people,
yes.
right? That like there's no particularly great reason that it is priced at that. It's not the price of the raw materials, it's not the production process. You know, it's paying for the Teletubby Land distillery
It's a status thing.
status.
Teletubby land.
Who was it that mentioned that the other day about Macallan? It was someone that dropped the Teletubby.
I've only ever heard him use that phrase.
No,
It's
no.
like-
Sam dropped it.
Sam, that was it.
Sam,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you added water?
I have.
I've added water, and it opens up really nicely. And you were just saying to me, sorry, across these guys chatting away, you're not liking this that much. Not for what you want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Not
quite
that
a
it's
selfish
bad.
thing, right?
Sorry, yeah.
What I want it to be. But at the same time, if I'm going to pay for it, I want it to be what I want it to be.
Yeah.
I think when you overcook a whiskey, well, not even overcook it, because it's not there yet, but I think it's really fucking close. There's not much you can do to take that fucking, what's happened to it away. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, they could have just re-racked it into a refill cask at 10 or 12 or 15 years old, at the point where they feel like
To dampen that
we
down.
want to have more age.
Yeah.
We want it to go longer. We want the alcohol
Yeah, but
to
that-
dissipate, maybe.
I reckon the only reason they bought this because it's like, this needs to be done now. Like our Springbank, right? Like, of course they would have loved to have kept that till fucking 20, whatever. But yeah, it's just a little bit over oaked for me, man.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I want to see another thing. Like, I want to see more variety with Macallan's.
You want to see what?
I want to see more variety with Macallan, because quite often it's
As
like,
in the casks that it's matured
yeah,
in. Yeah,
it's not like it's sherry,
Yep.
sherry,
Yeah.
sherry, more sherry. Like, I would be really interested to see what an indie bottler or even the brand itself could do with a different variety of casks. It would probably lend itself well to so many different styles, just because of like the type of spirit it is.
Yeah.
It's quite like it's sweet, it's got a spice to it. It's spice side. They
I think
lend themselves
people-
well to lots of different styles.
People are probably too scared though, because the price they're probably paying for a cask Macallan, like what fucking Sam did with the Highland Park. You're not going to stick a Macallan that you paid, what, £1 million for or something ridiculous like that into a maple syrup cask. And hence why,
I'd love to see somebody do it, though. Well, I'd try it.
Duncan Taylor stick their Macallan in sherry, because it's a safe bet. It works well. But I agree with you, Liv. Like, yeah, let's see fucking Macallan in some unusual shit.
Yeah.
But it's too much of a risk for an indie. Way too much of a
Even
risk.
the distillery have stopped now. So you had the fine oaks in the past, which had bourbon in. Now they've got the sherry cask, the double cask, which mixes in some American oak, and then there's the new color collection, which is predominantly American oak. So all they're doing is playing around with the mix of the wood type, but it's all sherry casks,
Yeah.
and then whether it's first fill, refill.
But again, sorry, when we talk about sherry casks, we're talking about very much entirely seasoned
Oh yeah,
and, yeah. I'd say that
Boring.
this is quite different in comparison to what the sherry
Yeah,
cask
yeah,
is like.
yeah.
This is kind of almost some of the last of its type that will be exclusively matured. So in that sense,
It's cool to try.
right. And so, is
Yeah.
it perfect? No. Is it exactly what you want from it? No. And for me, probably not either, right? But it's fucking cool.
Am I privileged and glad I tried it? Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for £140 a bottle, I wouldn't be annoyed to have bought it, right? I have to say, having dropped a bit of water in it, I think you're right. I think it does open up quite nicely.
Yep.
At 57.5, I think it's got a ways to come down and to open up. So you can kind of enjoy this, I'd say, anywhere between cask strength and 50, It's got that bit of range, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah. If nothing else, I think when you get a group of geeks like us in a room, it's a great whiskey to talk about.
Yeah.
For like all kinds of reasons.
That was another reason why I picked it. And also, I get what you're saying about it's a massive risk for like indie bottlers to get a cask of Macallan and then do it in something other than the typical styles. But as a consumer, or
Pay for it, though.
how much
That's
would I pay
the
for it?
question.
I know exactly.
How much? No. How much? So say I put this into. All right, name a finish you would like to see. Is it? You said wine casks. Would you like to see a wine cask? Or would you want to see a?
I'm a massive fan of a rum cask. We were talking about this the last time.
That's what I was listening to. I don't
I'd
want to put
be
the words
so
in your mouth.
interested to see how it would be. There's probably one out there. I'd probably need to look into it. But I love a rum cask. But I think also with rum casks, that's a whole other story. But rum casks, there needs to be more like provenance. As we were saying last time, there needs to be more provenance and more like transparency of where the rum and where it's
But
from.
how much would you pay for a rum cask Macallan? 17-year-old rum cask Macallan. Whether it's finished or exclusively
same as
matured
that.
or you pay it right. I think
that's
that
my
that's
whole thing.
like Stevie says, that's where the risk comes in because everyone's going to buy Oloroso Macallan. Everyone's going to buy PX Macallan. Everyone's going to buy Sherry Macallan all day long because that's what Macallan does. If I were to be charged the same amount for a Sherry Macallan as I were for a rum Macallan, I'd take the Sherry. You?
It's a safe bet.
You take the Sherry, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely try the rum.
You'd want to try the rum.
I knew it.
So that's interesting. These two fucking weirdos, they're linked. There we go.
I was looking
No,
at
I
him,
hear
just
what
staring
you
him in the
mean.
eyes.
Listen,
and say the rum.
from a variety point of view, a point of difference.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't. Once I go, if I want more great sherry whiskey, I'll go buy Glendronach.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He
Fair enough.
knows. He knows.
Right.
I have to say, it's a delicious whiskey.
Yeah, he's pretty delicious.
I'm sorry if you're not really enjoying it as much.
I'm
as
enjoying it. I'm just.
It
listen,
doesn't do it for you.
I'm not just going to sit here and say it's lovely.
He's Macallan.
I'm going to.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm here with
I'm gonna
Mold
pick
Man.
some holes in it because that's the whole point of it.
I was going to say, I'm here with my old man, my dad.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I gave it to
I thought
him.
she said I'm here with the old man. I thought she was talking to you.
Oh man, come on.
Sorry, Liv. Go on, my
I'm here
dad.
with my literal old man, my dad.
I'll take that.
And when they poured it for me, like I had it in my glass, I was like, that's nice. I try that. And like, bearing in mind we've been here for like a few hours now. I tried to give it to my dad, and he tried it. Went, that's beautiful. That brings tears to my eyes. I was like, I so
Getting
does.
emotional about
I get
Macallan.
emotional about Macallan. And my dad's name is Alan, so.
Fair play. Fair play.
Right, where are we at?
Oh, we want to do a roundup on this?
Let's do a roundup
Fair
on
fucking play. So you're saying £140 a bottle, 57.5 for 17-year-old Macallan. I would say first and foremost, it's lovely to see this at an accessible price point.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate £140 isn't what everyone has
much
to
is the
spend on
15?
a bottle.
Albeit mass produced.
What are you saying there, Steve?
How much is the 15, albeit mass produced?
OB. So you're
The Sherry Oak?
The OB, yeah.
There is no 15 Sherry Oak.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry.
Sorry, no. The 50, is it a 15 we saw
So you
at
can
duty
get-
free?
yeah, but
15
there's-
is Fine Oak.
There's double. No, Fine Oak's gone too.
I'm so lost on Macallan's
There's
range
double
now.
cask and colour collection 15.
The colour, yes. What's that?
The colour collection is the one that is mostly American oak sherry casks and mostly refill. So it's a lot lighter than this. It's 43.
It's the same as the Fine Oak, except the casks have been seasoned, right?
No, because the Fine Oak had bourbon in it.
So there's no bourbon casks.
No bourbon. It's all sherry casks, but it's American oak sherry casks. There's not much European oak sherry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had to go to like a fucking homework
Sorry,
lesson.
I
with
think you're
Macallan.
asking the wrong question. How much is the 18-year-old Sherry?
320 quid, I think.
That's the question, because this is nearly 18 and this is Sherry. This is 2 months off of 18.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah. That is 2 months off of 18.
Yeah.
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 All right, so £320.
Maybe even more than that now. I'm not paying hugely close attention.
That's crazy.
Well over 300.
That's gone up.
Yeah, it goes up every year, mate.
So over double the price of this.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But that's single cast, right?
That's single cask.
Yeah.
The 18
Okay,
is...
so with all of that in mind,
No, yeah, I'm ready.
let's do a roundup. Stevie, you're keen to start. Jump us off. 140 quid.
I'd buy it. You know why I'd buy it? Even though I hadn't tasted it, and I tasted it the first time, I'd be like, I would love to just keep going back to that every now and then, and learning why and what is it that I'm not getting on with and what I am getting on with. But you're right, 17-year-old single cask Speyside Macallan, and if you get it's a bargain.
Cool.
Yeah,
Strong buy?
It's a buy.
It's a buy. Ian.
I'm with Liv. I'd rather see it in another cask type.
Would you buy that bottle then, mate?
I'd probably...
That's not the question.
Yeah. So for 130 quid, I recently bought a Glendronach handfill. It was only a 12-year-old as opposed to a 17.
Okay.
So that's
OB.
OB, yeah. So that's where I literally put my money for a sherry dram in that sort of price range relatively recently. So I'm going to say don't buy, but it is a fine line.
Okay. That came as a surprise. Fair play. I'm going to say I would buy it all day long. £140. Macallan. It's rich. It's full. It's 57.5. It really takes water nicely.
Yeah.
Very nicely. It's actually opened up quite a lot to me, and I think that kind of over oak element that I agree with you on is kind of dissipated. and it's giving me a little bit more now. So I think it's a strong buy. You know, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. I'm not going to buy more than one. But I think being able to buy cask strength Macallan, single cask, 17-year-old, exclusive Oloroso maturation for 140 fucking quid.
Isn't it cool to like whip that out when people are around and be like, you want to try a 70-year-old single cask Macallan?
And that's exactly why you buy it, right?
You know?
You're
Yeah.
not going to be drinking it by yourself all the time,
No.
but you share it with people. I think it's great crack. I think this is really fucking cool. Good choice, Liv. But we need your vote on it. Is it a buy? Is it a don't buy? Is it an oosh? Or is it a bin it? Obviously not a bin it because
It's not a business. I would definitely buy it
Okay.
because I think it's a good, accessible, as you said, it's quite a low price point compared to the other Macallans. It's an accessible Macallan. It's one that someone like me would buy, who's like, yeah, sometimes I will spend a little bit more on whiskey so it's special, but like, if I'm just wanting a kind of standard Macallan at its best sort of thing, you know, kind of typical Macallan style, that is, I'd say, quite typical if they're kind of old school style.
Okay.
Buy.
For
It's
sure.
accessible. Like, yeah.
And there we go.
Cannot argue with you. Very, very accessible from a price
But at the
point.
same time, what's the other different finish, interesting finish?
Buy yourself a cask of Macallan then. Put it in rum yourself. Do you know what I mean, guys? Take that jump. I look forward to trying
For
it.
me.
Very much look forward to trying it on an episode. Liv, thank you so much for bringing this dram. Very, very cool. Guys, obviously, you've seen the episode with Liv before. If not, you can watch it here. But Liv also has her own podcast. It's Liv in the Dram. Need to check it out. She's really fucking cool.
And you're doing
Brings all
video
some
now.
Whiskies along.
Yeah. Just started. Well, I was trialing it, but video, yeah. So you can see my stunning face. I'm joking.
Cool.
But if you want to see my ugly mug, then yeah, you can see it.
Cool.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, with that being said, it's a strong buy on the Macallan. Liv, thank you very much for bringing it. Awesome. I'm going to pass it back over to you. You need to return it to the owners of this wonderful bottle. Thank you so much for joining us. We will no doubt see you in a minute. Now, gents, are we going to do a bit of a run around and have a couple more people, yeah?
Yeah.
Am I going to leave you to it, Ian?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go grab someone.
All right. Ian, run and grab someone. Liv, return
Thank
that
you,
bottle
Liv.
before you drink it all.
I know. You guys try
Lovely
not
to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
You don't have to
I'll see you
return
another
it.
time.
So, how are you finding that?
Yeah. I'm like a dog with a bone.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How's your Guinness?
I tell you what. My Guinness is going down exceptionally well.
It's not bad, is it? They know how to pour a Guinness at Murrayfield.
I tell you what, it's not Irish Guinness. You've got there's nothing on the glass there, do you know what I mean? But
No, well, I mean, to be fair, we've had this a while, but still, you know, still.
welcome to the Uncut and Unfiltered podcast. We now are sitting down with
Nadia,
global superstar,
it's me.
Nadia! Welcome! How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. I'm
Thank
just
you so
trying
much
to
for joining us.
equalize my ears. I apologize to everyone.
Yeah.
Don't be
I am
silly.
not
Getting
in the
loud.
wellest of conditions.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But don't be sorry. Can't help these things, but I'm here.
Have a dram, you'll feel better.
I will. Here's my glass. I need to find something in it.
So
Yes,
Oh.
we'll get you something in
you're
your glass straight
definitely
away.
our longest distance visitor that we've ever had on the podcast.
100%. Coming all the way from Australia, right?
Yes, all the way
that
from
won't be
Adelaide,
beaten.
Australia.
I don't think that
South
will be
Australia.
beaten anytime soon, will it? Fair play. Now, Nadia, you have an incredible whiskey page, which is a girl tasting whiskey.
That is it.
I want to make sure I got that right.
Yep,
I was looking
you
around.
got it right.
Oh, okay, got it wrong, get it right. Cool.
I'll stare you in the eyes.
Thank you. Yeah,
Got it fucking
I got it right. We're all good. We're all good. You've been a whiskey drinker for how long?
Actually, only about. Well, look, this sounds really bad, but I've drunk whiskey, like bourbon whiskey, like Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, for a long time. Underage times. I shouldn't talk about that, but
Okay.
I've been like an aficionado whiskey drink. I'm still not even an aficionado, but about 4 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying yourself.
Oh, how can you not have fun with this?
Definitely, right? It's such a cool area. Now, look, you've got some really, really cool content. You're always looking at different brands. We're delighted to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh.
And you've actually brought something from your neck of the woods, haven't you?
I did. This is a bottle from my home state. So Australia is quite big, as you probably know.
Just a bit,
So
yeah.
we're divided up into states. South Australia is where I'm from, and this is a bottle from a local distillery called the Tin Shed Distillery.
Okay.
Iniquity is what their whiskey is called. To be honest, I actually don't even know what is this whiskey.
Okay.
It's a bottle that I won from a tasting event that I went to, and we had to like answer questions, and I won a bottle of whiskey that way. But I'm 99% sure that this has like ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, and a little bit of peated cask. And it is obviously an Australian single malt whiskey.
Right.
Have you had much Australian whiskey before?
You know what? I think I've had one.
What, only one Australian whiskey?
I'm trying to think. Maybe two.
Starwood.
I've had a couple of Starwoods.
Sorry, okay. I'm going to say two then.
Yeah. all right.
I actually
Not a huge amount, no.
Yeah,
I'm new
great.
enough. Very new. Treat me as a newbie.
Yeah. The other day I got something from Morris, which is a new distillery to me. I've not tried it yet. And then a couple of weeks ago I had, I guess it's Tasmanian as opposed to Australian, but I had something from Belgrove.
Okay. Always very interesting. What
Yeah,
they're
the guy that
doing
runs
out
that,
there.
he seems like a real character. And then a couple of Sullivan's Coves. They're
Yeah.
Tasmanian as well,
Yep.
right?
Tasmanian, beautiful stuff from
Yeah.
Sullivan's Cove. So this one probably is a little bit more craft than Sullivan's Cove, but they have, been in the industry in Australia for a while, and they're really, paving the way. They're actually about to open up a big cellar door, I guess. Do you call a whiskey like distillery a cellar door? I don't know. Anyway, they're opening up a big facility which allows people to go there and experience it, much like what you've got here. And it's actually been really enjoyable to go into the distilleries here and see like the diverse demographic that visit.
Right.
Sitting back and watching that has been really enjoyable for myself because it's something that I want to see in Australia. We've only been making whiskey in Australia for just over 30 years, so it's not as ingrained in our culture as it is here and like in the States.
For sure.
So yeah, sitting back and watching that has been really enjoyable, and I hope that them building something like this in South Australia will continue that growth. So it's a big facility. They've got, much like what you have here, open stills, everything for you to view, go do a tour, then you can sit down and have a tasting and whatnot. But yeah, that's actually quite new in Australia. So yeah, it's really exciting that is something that's up and coming.
Nice
so
to see people welcoming them in, showing them the processes.
And like obviously here, as I've sat down and watched people come in, it's females, it's males, it's older people, it's younger people, it's all very diverse. So I'm looking forward to seeing that growth in Australia as well with these sorts of things popping up. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, they've got that due to open later this year. But anyway, if we want to dive into it, it's in my trusty little Denver and Lyle.
Let's get it in the
Traveller Cup.
glass. Do it. I'm excited to see.
This little Traveller Cup has travelled around many places.
And another little
Yeah, it was, but I mean, I'm not.
little whiskey grenade, as Jake coins it, that you bought it in. Where did you get that from? I've never seen anything like that before, ever.
Well, it's Denver and Lyle, which they actually make whiskey glasses, so they're hand-blown whiskey glasses out of Australia. I'm not sure if you've heard of them before. So
I think I've seen them on your page, actually.
yeah, I'm a little bit of a slut for a Denver and Lyle cup. The whiskey glass is this shape. It's obviously hand-blown glass. So this is their little Traveller Cup, which I actually don't think they're making anymore, which is really disappointing.
That's a shame. It would have been a good point.
Yeah, everyone really loves this cup as well when I post about it or whatever, but I don't think that they're making them. But so they've got like the leather little strap that clips on to your belt or your backpack or whatever. We do a lot of like going out on adventures. Well, myself personally, going out on adventures and enjoying a whiskey. So yeah, I like it. That is stainless steel, so it doesn't grow mold. I like that.
Always
Not
good.
that that's probably going to happen with whiskey anyway,
No,
but
but still,
you know,
it's good to know.
it's always a good like
Definitely.
a surety in your head. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so we'll get you some whiskey what?
You seem too wise.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ooh, I like colour.
I think so.
You can test this too. Story.
Thank you.
Hey, you.
Don't large little melody is one. You can. There. Can you always.
Do you know if this is natural colour?
Say again.
Do you know if it's natural colour or if there's been...
Yeah, it's all natural.
It is, yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so no additional colour added. And I do apologise. As you can probably hear, I'm quite sick. So my nosing and my taste is so far
You have to
off.
apologise for nothing. You want some
even
wonderful
funny.
whiskey and you're sitting down with this.
But
Don't worry, you're fine.
I wish I could give you more notes on this, but
No,
I'm
no.
going to be
Hey,
the
that's-
worst for that.
No, no,
I'm
no.
so disappointed. I've landed in London and I had like my course, which is what I did first up, hairdressing course. And one by one, everyone started getting sick. And I was like, if I fucking get sick, I'm going to be so pissed off. Sure enough, got sick. Anyway, here we are.
Have a jam, you'll feel
I'll get over
better.
it. Yeah. But yeah, sure enough, my tasting is not the best. So I'm very disappointed that I'm in the heart of Scotland whiskey and everything. And I'm like, tastes good.
You'll bring stuff home with you. You try it
get
out.
a-
It's
Get
okay.
a suitcase full of
It still
samples.
tastes great.
Exactly.
So it doesn't
Suitcase full
matter.
of samples.
Can't get super intricate.
So sorry, this is a non-aged statement?
No age statement.
Okay.
Typically speaking, I would say it's roughly 3 years. If they're listening to this, they're probably really annoyed that I don't know the full ins and outs of it. But do you know what? I can't remember everything.
We don't expect you to.
So, yeah, generally speaking, 3 years is probably around about the sweet spot for Australian whiskey. It does, because of the temperatures that we have there, it's accelerated in aging, evaporation happens, you know, things like that. So, generally speaking, that's around about where we sit at with our aging. And like I said, I'm pretty certain a blend of ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, and a peated cask.
And with the sherry, is that like a European sherry cask they brought, or is that an Australian like tawny cask they've used?
Great question.
That is a great question,
It's a
Ian.
great question.
And we will find out
You'll
in
find
another
out.
episode.
You will find out in another episode because I didn't even look at the label when I brought this. But I'm pretty certain it is like ex-sherry Oloroso.
Okay. And cask strength? Do you know the strength?
No,
No?
just here.
It's sitting quite nicely.
Tasty strengths.
It is. It's really nice. It's quite short
Right,
on the finish,
right.
but the initial impact of flavour, I really enjoy. And there's almost like a kind of like... It's almost a bit grainy to me. Do you get that? That kind of like... It doesn't taste like Scotch malt.
Right. No.
No, right? And obviously it probably wouldn't.
No.
Granted the climate and whatever. But there is kind of like a graininess to me. It's very sweet. I would say it's high 40s at least.
I would say that it's at least 45%.
Right, yeah. It's not thick,
I couldn't tell you if it was cask.
Sure. It's not too thin for me.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm. The front palate is really the texture of it, the mouthfeel. There we go. Get my words together eventually. I really like the mouthfeel. It's nicely kind of mouth coating, kind of around the bottom of the mouth, and it's kind of got a nice velvety texture to it on the mouth. Like it, a 3-year-old whiskey, you'd expect it to kind of feel much. I mean, obviously with Scotch, much harsher, much rougher, right?
Yeah. That's something that I really enjoy from this distillery. They have a lot of like a full flavour profile, considering, the level of aging and, where it's from and whatnot. So I enjoy everything that I have out of this distillery.
I'm getting this. I don't know if I'm going to step out on a ledge here.
Do that.
I feel like
Please
I'm
do.
eating a peach and almost sucking on a peach pit.
Yep.
It's really quite specific with the fruitiness.
I know what you mean.
But it's so short that it's kind of like it's there and it's gone.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
It's kind of like it's no.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right. A little bit.
Yeah.
It's like fuck. This. Oh wait. Where's that?
do you know what that means? You just have to drink a little bit more.
You're a good sales rep. A very good sales rep here.
Yeah, the
Another
rug
dram.
gets pulled very quickly.
Sorry?
The rug gets pulled very quickly, right?
I don't know if I'd say it that way, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, I do,
Yeah,
so-
yeah, no. I appreciate the sentiment. I know what you mean.
And I know what you mean about the peach as well, but it's more the like core of the peach. You know, when you get to the pit,
Like I said, it's
rather
sucking
than
on
the
pit.
Oh, sorry, you did say that.
Sorry,
Can't
yeah.
hear.
Yeah. But it's exactly that. For a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another flavour that I can't quite pick out.
Do you get the graininess?
Is it cask strength? I'm going to keep asking you questions that you don't know the
no,
answer to.
I don't think it is.
No.
But it could very well be. But I
It feels
don't.
to me like it's been watered down.
I don't think it is.
Oh yeah.
It's
I
it's
really-
difficult to know if that's the
Now
Australian
you're asking
climate.
all these
though.
questions. I really wish I looked at the bottle when I bought it. And I remembered those things.
No,
That's
don't
kind of
silly.
my
You're
job.
all right. You're all right.
Oh, well, do you know what? It's also kind of a fun blind tasting, and then tomorrow I'll
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh, I was way off, or I was pretty close.
Yeah, no, but this is the fun of it. That's the crack,
That's
exactly.
the fun of it.
I'm getting a little bit of waxiness to it as
Yeah,
well.
there's definitely a little bit of waxiness. Do you guys get much of that peated cask through it, or not really? I'm personally not a huge peated whiskey drinker. It's something that I really have to be in the mood for. And believe it or not, it's very fucking cold here, considered like what I'm used to.
Right.
And I still haven't even been leaning towards peated whiskey. I'm sure I'll have some, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but I just haven't
You haven't got there yet.
gone there yet. I'm also not going to Isla, so
You're not going to either?
no, I don't have time. I wish I had time.
We've got some whiskies here from Isla and Peter and all of. We'll get you some.
right.
You're all right. Don't
I
worry.
don't need to go to Isla.
We got you covered here at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival.
To get the cold weather and the
Yeah.
heat. Anyway, but yeah, I get quite a bit of that peated cask, but that's probably because that's not something that I drink a lot of, so it shines through a lot more for
Right,
me.
yeah. That's interesting. So, out of interest, do you know where the peated cask came from?
No.
So it's not peated malt, but there is an element of casks that had peated malt or whatever it was in it, right? And sorry, is it malt? Because we've been, and you say
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
it is
So,
definitely malt.
Malted barley.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, the peated cask for me, it's
Very subtle.
It's very
And look,
subtle.
it
It's
is
in the
very
tannins.
subtle.
It's at the back end of the palate, just as the very slight astringency as the tannins just hit your palate. That's where I'm going. Oh, just a touch of peat there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
right at that finish. It's quite, yeah, it's like a nice little kiss of peat.
A
Yeah.
kiss of peat.
Peat, just
Kiss of
kiss,
peat.
peat.
I tell you what, I want to release a whiskey called the Kiss of Peat. That's a good brand.
Trademark that shit now.
Coming
Yeah.
soon.
They say I'm good at branding.
You fucking are. I tell you what. Boom. New brand born. There we go. But it's exactly that. It's a kiss of peat. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
It doesn't really go into it. It's beautiful. It's actually
it's
really
really
nice. Analysing the peat actually has made me think an awful lot more about the dram, and all of a sudden you get more out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That kind of like kiss of peat that you get at the end there is almost a bit kind of like herbally for me. You know, it's kind of like a more of a fennel type head or something like that right there.
Okay.
Leave it
You
there.
are getting
Right.
right into it.
Yeah, yeah.
You go.
Maybe it was a Highland podcast.
I don't think
Sort
so.
of heathery peat, you know what I mean?
I don't.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Maybe.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mate, who knows?
I can find out and I can let you know. I should already know.
Do you know where? Do you know where we are on price point with this? Like what this costs?
I would imagine it's anywhere from 180 Australian dollars upward.
So at 40, 50 quid. 40, 50 quid then. basically.
Australian whiskey,
Sorry, you said 180.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
180, not
Done it.
80.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, sorry, where the fuck you getting your conversion rates from? I'll convert some money with you right now, my guy.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is
Back in
dear.
time.
I thought it was at 80.
Dear. Like Australian whiskey, sorry,
So-
we're saying about $180.
Yeah.
It's about 150 pounds.
No, wrong.
No.
Wait, wrong. It's like half.
massively wrong.
It's
like half.
1/8 is like.
I'm definitely not conveying with
I'm
you.
the worst at maths, so I'm not going to sit here and do the conversion, but it's double. So 180
It's about half
so
in
it's
like
pounds.
$300 or $400.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
£400, sorry. Like
No,
Wait,
20.
sorry.
No, like 90 quid.
Sorry, I think you've got the
90
double the
pounds.
wrong way around.
No, I haven't got the double the wrong way around. So 180 Australian dollars, and to double it to pounds.
okay, yeah.
It's like 90 quid.
That here is the one who knows. £93.
90 quid.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
$180.
100%.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
No, I do. Did I not just say a
Nadia, what are you doing? You're
I'm
making me
so
look a
fucking
fool.
bad at maths. It's not funny.
This is not a podcast for math.
Please ignore everything that's happened in the last 5 minutes. It's complete nonsense from all of us.
It's about 90 quid.
I was so wrong, and then I got it right, and you told me I was wrong. Jesus. Right. It's about
Again,
90,
this is so
95
bad.
pounds.
I'm
Yes.
horrendous at maths.
Okay.
Didn't need that clarification, but we just got it.
Well, don't worry, yeah,
So
we-
yeah,
It's about 95 pounds.
but that's also a starting point. I don't actually know how much it is.
Right.
But I think it's about that.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
do you know what this is
Point to the
called?
distance.
Does she know what this is called?
I think
Okay.
So,
So, guys,
Australian
no idea.
whiskey can typically be, when you're looking at craft distilleries,
Yeah.
due to our taxes and labour costs and
Yeah.
things like that, it can be a little bit more expensive, which is also why you don't see a lot of Australian whiskey on in an international sort of
For sure.
platform.
For
You've
sure.
got Starward, but he also has a lot of, I guess, contacts and things like that in the States that also allow him to move, I say him, the guy who owns it, to move the whiskey out and have that ability to get it into a different international platform, which is great. What else do you see in other countries? I haven't really seen. Like Lark, also a massive company in Australia.
yeah.
They've got investors and things like that. It's a big company that's grown quite significantly. So you see stuff like that, but our craft distilleries, like the costs are so high, it's really hard for them to sort of grow also on that sort of production scale to get it to be able to be available worldwide.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And like you say, let's take into consideration the climate is different. Now, does that translate to quicker maturation or whatever? That's arguable. It certainly translates to a much faster rate of evaporation.
Exactly.
Right?
So there's
and so
another
we're
cost.
going to be looking at almost double, triple the amount of loss. I think even more than that, right?
Yeah.
Really?
It's about 40%
Like
per annum.
4-6% a year.
Sorry.
Did you not just hear me
Yeah,
talk
I
about
know. I'm
numbers?
sorry, Nana. I put you on the spot again, asking you for facts. Wrong day to do it. I'm sorry. For sure, it's hotter in Australia.
Yeah.
The evaporation is higher. That's what we
Exactly.
know.
That's all we need to know. We don't need to know specifics.
Nothing else is required. Cool.
Nothing's required.
But as a result, you end up with less liquid. More liquid in, less liquid out. As a result, it has
More
to cost
money.
More money.
Exactly.
Money.
If you had to guess an age,
Well, based on what Nadia said, I'm going to say, 4.
Yeah.
You know, 3, 4 years old. It's not old.
It's young.
It's not old.
No, it's not
It's
old.
cool. It's weird. It's Australian. It's nothing like
Australian, mate.
Weird.
It is weird.
That's not the response.
I'm so sorry, Nadia.
I love how you put it's Australian, it's weird.
I don't mean it like that. I mean
I
it's
just
weird.
wish this couch was a
I'm
little bigger and I could shuffle away.
Give us the shovel, mate.
Yeah.
Give us it.
Keep digging.
Just
mate.
cancel me now.
Yeah.
Just fucking write me off, guys. I didn't mean it to be rude. I meant weird in a good way. I'm weird. I'm fucking bizarre, right? I mean it as in you would never get a flavor like this from a Scotch whiskey. And so you look around the room here.
Would you not?
I don't think so. I think that the flavor is so compact. And so you can taste that it's young, but the flavor is full.
Yeah.
Whereas Scotch whiskey takes a lot more time to get the flavour in, but the flavours can be more nuanced.
To be perfectly honest, I'm going to sit here and be like very raw.
Go on,
Love that.
tell me I'm wrong.
Sitting here and having this after spending the last sort of week going around Scotland and having obviously a lot of different Scotch whiskies, I can probably attest to what you're saying. Like, the flavour is very compact and it's not as much of a sort of whole experience.
Okay.
So I'm going to butcher what I'm trying to say, but like when I've gone round to distilleries, like you have that flavour and it sort of lingers and it's like this whole mouth feel of an experience and it lingers. Whereas, yes, this is very, that's what I'm getting and that's it.
Okay.
And I do believe that must come down to the level of time that it's in a cask and how fast it goes in and out and all of those other sort of things. But I can understand where you're coming from now, whereas I actually haven't always been a huge Scotch whiskey drinker.
Right.
I have always drunk it, but never in the short amount of time that has been this last week have I drunk so much Scotch whiskey.
Okay, good.
So I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from with that now. Whereas I would go between bourbon, Scotch, Australian. When I'm at home, I'll just try a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Whereas I've obviously drank a lot of Scotch whiskey in this last week, and now going back to this, I'm like, oh wow, that is very different. In the sense it's the same flavour profile, it's very different.
Yes.
And that's probably
That's
what
I-
you're saying.
Way
is
more
like,
elegantly put, right? Thank you. I'm glad that you're sat here next to me so that I don't get cancelled. Fucking hell, I was on the edge there for a second. Now that you brought it back, we're all good. We're all good.
Okay, we're all
But that's
good.
exactly
We're
it.
all good.
It is. It's different. Different sorts of liquid in different sorts of environments. The cask type may be similar,
Yeah.
but the end result is different.
And I think that is the very fun thing about whiskey completely is
100%.
different environments, different casks, different distillers, different everything makes for a different flavour profile. And as much as Australian whiskey is very young, it hasn't been, happening for a very long time in Australia, I'm not sure that they're trying to replicate Scotch whiskey exactly. Particularly, we are doing a lot of single malts. I haven't really asked the question, to be honest, to a lot of distillers. Like, are you just trying to make Scotch whiskey but make it Australian? It's not going to be the same. Are they trying to? I'm not sure. It's similar, but it's not. I don't know. But, there is that sort of element that you sit there and you go, oh, are you just trying to replicate? Not sure.
I think it stands really
It's-
nicely on its own. I think it is truly its
it
own
is-
little category.
It is what it is.
Like, I mean, just with this,
Yeah.
forget about Australian as a whole, just trying this dram, I feel that it does stand apart from every whiskey that we've tried today. Like I say, I feel like the flavour is much more impactful. It's it's almost like having an extract of something, right? It's like so concentrated.
Yeah.
And it's lovely, and that's cool. Sorry, weird. Weird is a bad word.
Weird can be a good word.
It's challenging. It's different, and I think that the initial.
Do you know what?
Go on, Nadia. Sorry.
Do be sorry. It's good to have challenging and different, though, because that's something that I can attest to. I tend to lean towards drinking similar whiskies to what I'm used to.
Right.
And then sometimes your palate does get very accustomed to drinking that sort of flavour profile, which with yourself, you're obviously very used to drinking Scotch whiskey. And then now you've gone to something that is very different
For sure.
in many ways, as much as it's similar with being a malt. Trying something like that, it is weird. So you're not wrong in saying that. I think that it's just different to what your palate's used to.
Definitely. Yeah, no, 100%. I like it. What do you guys think?
I like it a lot. I think it's an interesting mix of fruitiness up front before going into the tannins. As you said, it is extracted. It's a kind of shorter roller coaster than you get on some of the whiskies that I'm used to drinking, but that's not to belittle it in any way. In some ways, when you really want to think about it and get some notes, it means you've got to be really actually fucking sharp about it. You've got to be on your toes and be like, what's that?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting, and I love that comparison to roller coasters, actually. And I'm sorry, I can't think of the roller coaster I'm thinking of, but there is one in Thorpe Park, I want to say, where you literally get shot right up and come down, and that's
Like
the end of the
the
ride.
slingshot?
Right?
Oblivion.
Slingshot? They
What's it
call
called?
it a slingshot in Australia.
Right.
Stealth.
And yes,
Stealth.
that's what we
Like
call
stealth.
We call it stealth.
You'll creep up on you and
But it is, it's and it's like
15 seconds.
right.
Yeah.
But it's fucking intense.
Yeah.
And that's a ride to go on. And I would compare that to this. That's a really,
That's
really
the
cool.
worst
not as much,
reference
but
that
yeah.
you two idiots could have possibly come up with.
What's that?
A reference to a, like, provincial UK roller coaster.
You brought up roller coasters, my guy. I was running off of your fucking recommendation, you absolute prick.
We got specific.
Jesus. I was just running with what you said.
We got specific.
That's a good thing to say. That's a good. I like the comparison. All right.
Right. Where are we at with this dram?
Well, we don't know because Nadia doesn't know how much it costs.
yeah,
but-
we do.
Oh, we've got
90 quid.
No. It's the whiskey starts at £90,
I would imagine.
and so it'll probably be anywhere between 90 and 120 pounds.
This is where it starts.
Yeah. I can
Okay.
click
Yeah,
Google
it's 90
if you
pounds.
really want me to, but
No, so let's say it's £100. Let's just say, bang on, it's £100.
let's go with
For
that.
argument's sake.
Yep, for argument's sake.
Okay.
We don't need to argue.
We don't know what it's called. Do we know what it's called?
I know where it's from.
Where is it from?
Iniquity.
Sorry?
Iniquity is the
Iniquity. Okay.
distillery.
Okay.
I want to try and say it's like Tamar something, but again, this is literally a bottle I won, picked it off the shelf. That'll be good to take.
Cool.
I like their stuff. Share it.
I
And
can
then
see why you like
I
it.
should have looked at the label.
All right, well, let's say it's £100. I'm going to hand over to you.
First of all, thank you for bringing it. I love that. I pay 100 quid for that.
Well,
And for
they
everyone
are
at home,
actually,
watch
they
them.
were
He's
actually.
gonna
I
nick
know, I
that,
was like,
yeah.
oh,
everyone at home, this is what I'm referring to. However, look, this is yummy, but it very quickly just disappears, right, for me. It's not as intense as the roller coaster Stealth at Thorpe Park. You can pay us for that, sponsor later. No, it's a don't buy. For £100, it's a don't buy. However, it's been a great experience. Thank you.
Fair play.
Oh, pleasure.
Ian,
This episode not sponsored by Thorpe Park.
it could be sponsored by Thorpe
Maybe.
Park.
If anyone's
Anyone from
listening.
Thorpe Park, get in contact with us now. God,
We should try some whiskies on a roller coaster.
I'm going to do that. So that's an
Do you
episode.
know what? The
Try
best way
this.
to try it would be with your traveller.
I love it.
It would
Plugging both. I love it. And cool.
But, you know, the production costs of a craft distillery are obviously higher. Whilst this one, obviously, you brought over personally, if it was ever coming over here, obviously, it's a long, long way to ship it over. It's really interesting. I've tried a couple of different Australian whiskies, like, over my journey. I've always enjoyed them. I haven't bought lots, but I always love to try them. So, it's a buy for me.
I don't believe you.
What'd you say?
I don't believe you.
I tell you what, mate. I'm going to agree with Ian. It's a buy.
Yeah.
Is it expensive? Yes. It is very expensive, and it's just a buy. But the reason I would buy it is because it is so different, and I want an Australian whiskey on my shelf. I don't have any Australian whiskey on my shelf. Like you say, like we've got these different whiskeys that come out in Starwood. This to me tastes like
different.
Australia.
Yeah, it's a.
And I've only been to Australia once, and so I don't, with the taste of Australia. I know you're laughing at me, but you can tell that this is from a different climate. And that's the thing to me
for sure.
that makes it so yummy. It's a good quality whiskey. I think it's been put in good quality casks. Is it something that I'm going to spend hours writing tasting notes about? No. But is it something cool that I want to share with other people? Yeah. And so for that reason alone, it's a strong buy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a buy. Nadia,
Love it.
Don't believe
you don't know what price point exactly this is at. You were given this bottle, obviously.
Yeah.
Would you buy one yourself?
I'll wait till Nadia's
Yes,
leave.
I
Yeah?
would. Like I said, I've always thoroughly enjoyed what I've tried from this distillery. I try obviously a lot of whiskey, and some Australian stuff, which you're obviously not going to get. The beauty of tasting can taste a lot younger than this.
For sure.
There's a very big sort of range of flavours that you can get from Australian whiskey, and this probably represents a good indicator of Australian whiskey.
Okay.
To me.
For sure.
Without being too watered down, too over, like, think about Australian whiskey, which is, we're going back on this conversation a little bit, I probably should have talked about this earlier, is like our cask availability. So we don't have, like, we're so far from everywhere. Like, we have a lot of sherry and tawny and like ex-red wine barrels that are getting utilised. So it's kind of a really nice example of Australian whiskey without just being super red wine forward or super tawny forward. Like, it's actually quite rare to come across an Australian whiskey that doesn't just taste like port.
Something that's actually a stripped back whiskey.
It tastes like whiskey, exactly. So for me, I think that what they're doing is you're able to taste a lot of malt, and you're also able to taste the beauty of the casks, which is where you get that sort of lovely kiss of peat through with this one. But yeah, for me, it would be a buy, even if I didn't win it and I didn't know what it was called. It would still be a buy. But yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Lovely Australian whiskey. Thank you very much for sharing, Nadia.
I think you have something to say.
Diamond. So what are we saying there, gents?
Stevie has something to say, I think.
Go on, Stevie.
Do you feel left out now?
Why not?
I just don't believe you two.
You don't believe I buy it?
No, I don't.
Why?
Listen, Nadia, without offending you or the distillery, it's nice. It's lovely. Is it £100? Absolutely fucking not.
Oh, but I said that. But listen, you know me, man. I stretch on things just to have it as part of the collection. I think that this is the sort of thing that needs to be part of the collection to showcase.
Listen.
Do I think that it's worth £100? Would I buy multiple bottles? No. But I want it as part of the collection purely as a showcase.
Oh, I get it. And
Right?
listen, there's some great whiskey. Starwood, they produce some great stuff. Much more affordable price point. £100.
The difference with something, so for myself, as obviously someone that gets to try a lot of Australian whiskey, the difference between, and this is exactly what I was just explaining, I've forgotten your name. Jake.
It's all right.
To Jake, is Australian whiskey can quite often be very cask forward. So you can get a lot of red wine, you can get a lot of tawny, and that's great. But I think it's probably, without trying other Australian whiskey, it's hard for you to understand, but I think you get a lot of a more of a well-rounded flavour profile with this. Even though it might not be a very long finish and it might be a bit shorter than potentially what you're used to with your Scotch whiskey. Again, it's not Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
It's a totally different...
No, I know, and I'm
But
not
I think that's
comparing.
what's really interesting, and what Nadia was
It's a
saying
very
to
good
me
point.
before we jumped in here with, like, you look at Starwood, for example, and I'm saying this, Nadia didn't say this, so don't, Starwood, don't hate
judge
Nadia,
me.
you can hate me. Starwood, for example, takes a lot of Australian characteristics, so Australian wines, Australian whatever, and finishes their whiskies in that, and it gives it this sort of really super Australian flavour. I think it's kind of what
It's
you're
normally
getting,
very
right?
intense.
Right, and what we've got here is something that is an Australian whiskey.
It's a bit more subtle, but a bit more true.
It's just a whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not got heaps
For
of
me,
wine. It's not got
I feel
heaps
like
of
you get
sherry.
a lot more
It's
of
just
the whiskey.
it's
in
just
this,
Australian
as
whiskey
opposed
doing what
to-
Australian
And I'm not
whiskey
knocking
does.
that,
And to that point, exactly that point, because I've tried plenty of Starwood. I wouldn't
No
buy
bash
it.
on Starwood.
No, well,
Delicious,
I'm not
if that's what you're
running out to the
after.
shops to buy it myself. Whereas I would spend. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Do I recognise that? Yes. Would I spend the money on it? Yes. For that, to have it in the cabinet, right? It's not something I'm going to be returning to every day. It's something I'm going to be sharing.
I
with people.
appreciate that.
I think it's a really
On the-
good example of Australian
And,
whiskey.
yes, so I can align with you on that and the appreciation of, like, you'd rather have that on the shelf for a bit higher price than sticking a Starwood on the shelf.
Yeah.
To have an Australian whiskey on
And
the
I
shelf.
want that. I want that, man. I think there are so
That's
many
fine.
different regions, so many different styles now. Scotch and Irish are obviously the kind of, where we pay homage, where everything starts. However, you've got to look at new regions
sure,
now.
for
It's
sure.
like wine.
And
I
that is
love
the
French
hardest
wine. I love
thing,
Italian wine, but New World wine is awesome. Sorry, Nadia, what were you
The
saying?
hardest thing with Australian whiskey is, yes, the price point is so expensive for someone that doesn't actually know. Even as an Australian, like, you want to get into Australian whiskey, be like, shit, that is a lot to invest in a bottle. Or even,
Yeah.
like, there's not as much availability at a bar because they don't want to invest in a bottle to sell at the bar that might not sell. Like, there's so much to it, and
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
hard to then grow that industry. Whereas here, there's so much available for you to try at so many different price
I
points,
agree.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic what Starwater are doing.
For sure.
I'm super proud of that for Australia, but that's not the only type of whiskey that's coming out of Australia.
Yep.
And I think that's the only disappointing thing for Australian whiskey is there's not more available for people to try
No, for
at
sure.
a price point that would be legible for just your everyday person that doesn't want to just waste, you know,
No.
waste money on a dram. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm not hating on this, by the way. I
don't
enjoy.
be silly. You're not.
I
saying that
enjoy
at all.
it. It's just too much for me. Price point.
I think
for what I'm doing.
100%, and that's again for me as an Australian whiskey drinker. That's the disappointing thing. Is like I wish that our government would rack off with their taxes so that these craft distillers could actually get their product out and tasted by many more people and have it out on international platforms because it's where it should be, because I believe that it is coming up to those standards that we've got Scotch whiskey and American whiskey, and as much as we have only been here for 30 odd years distilling whiskey, I think they're doing some really good things.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely an area to watch.
Yeah, I think, Steve, the other thing as well, right? Like, if this has got a peated cask, that peated cask has been imported in from Scotland or somewhere else.
I'm
There's
still not
obvious-
buying it, mate.
I know, there's a cost to doing
I appreciate
these things,
it.
right? There's-
I'm not fucking buying it, I hate you.
sit in your corner and grump.
You sales rep, mate.
Do you know what? You're entitled to that, and the next person at home would still not buy it, and I totally understand where you're coming from.
Thank you for bringing it. I really appreciate it. I honestly, from my heart,
I'm glad you got
I don't want to
try
insult
something.
anyone that comes on here, and I'm not. I know I'm not.
And look,
Just tell you
you
a
can
scheme.
pay me later.
Yeah,
You owe
exactly.
me
Yeah.
for it, but that's fine.
I tell you what, Nadia, watch that fucking flask.
Yeah.
He's got sticky fingers.
I got
You
my
will-
yours.
It's all right. Half my family live in Perth. I'll get them to pick me up one.
And you know what? If you rock up with one, I know, because they're not even available
Yeah.
to buy anymore. So I'll be like, Stormy bottle.
Love it.
Well, it's cool to have something diverse on. So thank you for bringing
100%. And on that note, thank you so much. What a beautiful dram to share. What an interesting conversation it has started.
Exactly.
And that is what whiskey is all about at the end of the day.
Exactly.
There's no right, there's no wrong. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. And hopefully you guys will be interested in trying a little bit more Australian from now on.
I hope so.
Nadia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Other
having
than
me.
your incredible Instagram page, which, guys, just once again for everyone at home, a girl tasting whiskey. Nadia does some really cool content. Is there anywhere else that people at home can find you?
Predominantly just there. I am
Predominantly on
like,
Instagram?
floating around on TikTok and YouTube
Okay.
and stuff, but I
The mainstay is Instagram.
Yeah, more of an Instagram gal.
Rock and steady on Instagram.
We'll link that in the bio for sure.
We will link it in the bio below. Drop her a follow. Really cool content. Awesome whiskies, whether it's Australian, Scotch, or global. You're touring the world at the minute.
I am.
Wishing you the very best on your future journeys, and thank you so much for joining us, Nadia.
Thank
Lovely
you for
to meet
having
you.
me.
Thank you, Nadia.
Cool.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Back again with the two most gracious hosts of the best whiskey festival in all of Scotland. Yeah, we are back again with Graham and Serena. Graham, welcome back. Serena, big welcome back to the Uncut and Unfiltered podcast. What a fucking day. Oh, Jesus Christ. Is it going okay for you?
It's going pretty well. She's the one. I don't get. Yeah, it's gone beyond their expectations.
Good.
You know, amazing. It really has.
It's gangbusters, I have
Yeah.
to say. Everyone we bumped into, beaming ear to ear. The whiskies are fucking exceptional. The exhibitors are exceptional. The setup, second to none. You've done an awesome job. And we're really excited to sort of share this last little bit with you here before we kind of chill out and enjoy it, just, you know, wandering around. We've drunk so much whiskey today. Graham, you brought a bottle with you. Tell us about this special bottle. This is something that's interesting to you.
It's interesting to me. I can't even remember what this tastes like, so don't worry about it.
Fair enough.
But so we've got our, we stick with our strands. We create the good vibes, but we always talk about, the history of distilling. So this is an old bottle, 1973. This was made. So I like my single grain canvas. Obviously, we did the whoosh the last time. So this was actually a tiny distillery, a small single distillery that sat on the canvas site. So this is on the canvas site, but it was a separate distillery altogether. So there's hardly any of this whiskey left. This is really rare stuff. Cool. It was called North of Scotland Distillery, also called Strathmore. So I managed to get my hands on some of this. So yeah, as I say, single grain.
You were selling that's going for a lot of money at this point.
Serena's got her capitalist cap on there. I like it.
Are we going for it?
Aye, we're going for it. Jed's poppy glasses in there.
I'll take a little one. Graham.
Just a
More
wee
than enough,
dram for me. That's plenty. Thank you.
So is this a disclosed distillery? Sorry, is it a closed distillery?
This is a.
It is, yep. And also, this is a discontinued bottle as well, sold out.
Yeah, completely.
You keep bringing
it was
us...
bottled in 2005.
Oh, wow.
As a 32-year-old?
Wow.
32-year-olds.
Aye, bottled in 2005 as a 32-year-old.
And this is from your collection, Graham? You keep bringing things that we can't buy. Teasing us.
As we always say, listen, that could sit on a shelf. It's a 1973 bottle of whiskey for, the next 50 years? What's the point in that?
Fuck that, let's give it 4 ooshes, right? Ooh! Nice one, Graham. Thank you for sharing, my guy. Slash of
Nice one. Slanch of
Thank you, Graham. Serena, is that your first dram of the day?
Oh, it is nice.
How does it taste?
Golden.
That is really fucking
Nice,
good.
isn't this? I was actually a bit worried because I completely forgot what it tasted like, because for me it was all about where it's come from, the journey it's had, and the fact it's now a ghost distillery. But
Sure.
it's absolutely gorgeous.
When it tastes good on top of that, well, right, it's all the more. 45% at natural cask strength, it seems, as well, which is, 32 years old. It's a nice old age, but I wouldn't have expected it to drop that.
No, I wouldn't have expected that either.
Which is interesting.
It has dropped quite a lot. Do you reckon that is
Well, it
cask strength?
It says natural strength, so yeah, I would. It means the same thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Much of the same. Yeah, natural. Sorry, it does. Sorry, it says natural cask strength up here on the top, actually. So definitely cask strength.
But it's a tidy whiskey. It's a grain whiskey again. I love my grain whiskies, but again for me, this was made, just a few miles from where I live. We don't have any distilleries left now, so they're of value to me, if no one else. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, you can completely understand why though. Once you're stopping on that, beautiful liquid, really, really sings from the glass. And again, a real old school grain.
Yes.
We were talking about this earlier. We've had a few really cool, interesting jams today, and the old school grain style is coming through.
I don't even want to know how much this would have been back in 2005. Probably been about $3.99 or something.
This is the thing. It's still cheap as a grain whiskey goes. So for a 1973, I think I paid for this bottle probably about 350, 400 quid.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It is a joke. It is a joke, because that is so cheap for, old whiskey like that. But such as grain. But you're right. There's been a couple of great whiskies today. Port Dundas across there. Fib whiskey have been doing a beautiful Fib, beautiful Port Dundas whiskey as well. Again, good grain whiskey. So now we've had a great selection this afternoon. It's been great.
I'm getting this banana split sundae.
I'm kind of
on this ice creamy vibe. Is anyone else here with me?
Yeah. I'm there.
A little bit of banana, which is
A little bit banana, like banana ice cream, almost milkshake.
banana sundae. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah,
Split
yeah.
banana sundae. Yeah, really, really yummy. and quite a lot to it. For only 45%,
Yeah.
sometimes grain whiskey drops a little bit low on the percentage, and I find that it doesn't offer as much.
Yeah.
But there is heaps in this glass.
Drinks very nicely.
Beautiful
Great.
whiskey.
Beautiful whiskey, yeah. It's not what else you can
He's what
say,
else to
right?
say, right? It's fucking delicious.
Sometimes you don't need like for us to chat shit about things for 10 minutes.
How's it been for you guys today?
Oh, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been good.
It's been really good, to be honest. I think, you know, with the event, you kind of like, it's been a long time coming. Well, it feels like a long time coming, despite only being organised about 5 months ago. And deciding to be like, we're we're bored, let's take it to Edinburgh. But no, it's been a nice vibe. Particularly the first session was nice. People had just come out, so it's the first drink they had was coming in here. Really excited about it. And even the second session as well. I just got the numbers right as well. Those numbers we were talking about last time. Numbers of attendees to stand. So delighted. Feedback's been good.
This is a sold out event, right?
It's 100 people over sold out.
Oh wow.
We could have got more, and there was a time where we were thinking, actually, we've got a bloody big venue here, should we have put a few more people in? But actually, you know, I think the feedback so far is, you know, it's just been perfect in terms of the vibe, in terms of just the balance of everything. You know, people are actually getting a chance to chat whiskey with the exhibitors, and when you've got 500 people in a venue at any given time, a handful of exhibitors, you can't have that chat with the guys that want to actually tell your story. I mean, you go to each of these exhibitors and they're telling you everything about it, every single aspect, whether it's been in 5 barrels or 1, you know, whether it's been, you know, flowed through a particular river or wherever it's gone, the stories come out, and you don't get that if you've just got people
Fighting for a dram. I'm next. Yeah,
Exactly.
pass me something. No, it
So
doesn't work that way.
We're
does
happy
it?
with that, and it's where would you rather be, guys? Edinburgh, Murrayfield, World Cup weekend.
What an absolute sword. This is exactly where I want to be. And I have to say as well, and we started with this on the first episode we did, and I want to finish with this. You guys have raised a really phenomenal amount of money for an incredible charity.
Yeah.
Now, we started off our first episode trying your festival whiskey. I cracked it as soon as I bought it. It's fucking exceptional. There probably won't be any being sold online, but if anyone's foolish
I
enough to
think
be
you
selling their bottles,
bought a bottle of that before even the mics and cameras are set up.
This is over. I was like, grab one. Boom. We're opening it. Stunning. Not only is it stunning, though, you've sold 100 bottles and £30 per bottle has gone to charity, which means you guys, at minimum, if no one's even bothered to lift their wallet out of their pockets and give a little more, you've raised £3,000 for a really fucking great charity. On that note, I'd just like to say well done and thank you for not only bringing amazing whiskey into the fold, but for actually doing it for more than a bit of money in your pocket, but for doing it for the community at large. Props are due, man. Really, really incredible stuff. Really well done.
I think with hopefully with the tickets and everything else as well, we've got some of our fabulous exhibitors, like raffling things and auctioning things as well, and that's that nice spirit about the charity and about the foundation. And it's just been lovely to see. So we're hoping we'll post and we'll let you know how much the total is in terms of
I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be exceptional.
The guys have raised a couple of grand through the My Name's Doddy stand, all the memorabilia. So they've taken out probably $2.5 grand already, maybe more by the end of $3 grand, maybe by the end of the day.
Amazing.
And then we had the £5 off the ticket. So, and it's just about raising that profile as well. The charity have been amazing. So we I know it's nice to be able to support the charity, but the festival lends itself really well to that, and we're just delighted to, and we're privileged to be, an honour to be attached to, what is such an important charity and an incurable disease. So no, I appreciate you saying that, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity for us to do what we can as well.
This is it,
We'll
Greg.
continue to do that as well.
Go on, sorry.
I'm saying we'll continue to do that as well.
But that's the beauty of it. And from what you've just said, it doesn't feel like a charity event.
No.
It's not like people are walking around shaking buckets and going, can we have some money? This is a fucking high caliber event with fucking awesome whiskies. And on the back of that,
And
you
the
get to feel
donations
good about
are done.
yourself because some of that money
Yeah,
is
yeah,
to charity.
yeah.
I've done nothing for the charity. I've literally, but I bought a bottle of whiskey and I get to know, cool, at least my money's gone to the right place there. You know, the whole event, well, everything that you've pulled together here, guys.
And we were
it's not just an awesome event, it's really fucking
We
cool.
were saying this earlier, that like you could do any festival bottling, and you could do any festival bottling for charity.
Yeah.
But for it to come out as
And
that
it tastes fucking good.
to that good,
Yes.
I know.
so
It's rare.
You know,
It's
it's nice. When unfortunately Kenny Logan's not been able. He's an ex-Scotland player who is a big, ambassador for the charity. And what he said to me when we were talking, plans for the event and how we were going to use the event to raise the profile for My Name's Doddy. And he was obviously best friends with Doddy Weir. And as I say, I've had the privilege of playing against him as well. And Doddy was a massive socialite. If you'd have brought him into here this afternoon, everybody would have just went around him. He was that type of bloke. And when I talked about the festival and what we had planned, and Kenny said, as one of his best friends, he said, Doddy, I fucking love this. And that's what, we tried to create an event that is a social event that brings people together, just as Doddy would have absolutely loved an event like this as well. And that's what it's about. We could cram another 200 people in here, no bother at all, and put money in our pockets, but it wouldn't take the atmosphere that we hopefully I managed to achieve today. So absolutely, Slanja va.
The beauty as well.
Slanja bar, guys. Well done.
Guys.
Cheers.
Sorry, pal.
We've got we've actually got a few people, two or three people here today, or have been here today, with the disease as well. So, and they had kind of emailed in to let us know that they really appreciate what we were doing. It was nice. It was really nice. So it's just emails, and it's just that kind of communication and things like that make you feel like it's all worth it.
100%.
You guys have added to it as well. Listen, this is exactly the way we want our festivals to go. Like I was saying
What,
to you
3
before.
Egypts chat shite?
Exactly that.
Hey, listen, we're always available. We're always available to chat shite.
You guys have a massive hit this afternoon.
You're very kind. Listen, it's great crack, and you know what? You couldn't ask for more.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, I'll do.
Lots of people having lots of fun here. There we go. The festival has been an absolute turnout from all standpoints.
I have a question for you guys, eh?
Sorry, Stevie, say it
I
again.
have a question
Go on.
for Serena and Graham.
Go on.
What do you think of Jake's attire for today?
It looks like it's been well planned.
He's trying to throw me under the bus. What do you think of Tiger King over here? Does he look okay?
Thanks, mate.
Fuck you. You
I
throw me under the
approve.
bus.
I
I'm looking
approve.
pretty in pink today.
I wasn't
okay?
trying to
Don't
throw
be
you under the
coming at me.
bus.
Don't be
I
fucking coming
approve,
at
but I know it's a big
Summer,
thing.
autumn going on, and I like it. You're on point, Jake. Don't listen to that.
Thank you.
Jake's shirt's look well thought out, to be honest.
I say Jake's shirt looks like it's been thrown under the bus.
Thank you. I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus. Last fucking
Sorry,
minute
mate.
here,
I
lad.
was actually trying to
be
get you
man.
paid some
You be
compliments here.
I will. I tell you what,
Inclusive festival.
if the best looking couple in the whole fucking room is saying I look okay, fuck yourselves, I look okay, alright?
I never
That's
said
enough
you
said.
didn't, mate.
Enough fucking said.
I never said you didn't.
Now, shall we talk about the whiskey in hand?
Yes.
Maybe that's what we should be rating as opposed to my fucking outfit.
Sorry, I've drunk.
My wee frock here. Let's rate
My
the whiskey.
wee frock.
Aye. So, 32-year-old grain.
Jake, get up on the table with a...
Oh, sorry. Do you mind if we just
just so it's in shot.
next to my Guinness? Because we're sponsored by Guinness this afternoon. So, 32-year-old grain whiskey from a distillery you won't hear from nowadays. You know, you're not gonna be able to buy this stuff. It was bottled way back in 2005. You picked this up recently in auction, is it?
Yeah, but it was an auction, yeah.
Okay,
Whiskey
so
auctions, yeah.
3 to 350. Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at about £10 per year.
Yep.
Of age, I would say, for this sort of caliber of grain. Let's call it £350 clean. Stevie, I'm going to start off with you. You miserable fuck in the green. Judging everybody. Go on.
Thanks, mate.
Judge the whiskey. What do we think? Is it a buy? Is it a don't buy? Or does it...
Ooh, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But $3.50, it's a lot of money
It is a lot of money.
on a bottle of whiskey. So I'm going to pass on it.
Okay.
For the price, it's just a little bit
You're
Too
not
much
hunting
for
for
me.
the closed distilleries anymore, no? Not at the minute.
Not at the minute, mate. But it is absolutely delicious.
It's a very good brand.
It is so good. But it is.
It's
Yeah,
a stretch too far for you.
it's lovely.
Graham needs to keep it in his cupboard. You should have shared it with Steve.
However-
He doesn't appreciate it.
Listen, what is this? This is
Enough from you.
This is an attack.
Just
Ian! Ian, what do you think of this delicious whiskey?
The line is being drawn. And actually,
know, right?
Unfortunately, I'm with Stevie.
Oh no! A line between this couch and that couch. The table will be the line.
Look, it's amazing. It's a fantastic grain whiskey. There are still quite a lot of closed grain distilleries. Grain is still relatively cheap. That seems a little bit rich for me. Obviously, Graham, for you, it's got that personal connection.
Exactly.
So for you, it's worth it. I think for
Absolutely.
me, it's probably just a little bit more than I
Absolutely
would
get
personally
it.
want.
Absolutely get it.
Fair play.
But it's delicious.
You're wrong! No, listen, I hear you, and it is a stretch. For me, I have to I'm with Graham here. There are a few grain distilleries that I hunt out, some really good ones out there. But I think that this is the sort of thing I would buy.
Yep.
I would only buy it having tried it.
Yeah.
So if I saw it on an auction and I hadn't tried it, I wouldn't pay it any mind. Now that I've tried it, I would probably stretch. And it would be a stretch to 350. It's not quite the Oosh that you bought us last time. I'm sorry, Graham. However, it's a fucking delicious whiskey.
It is.
It's a really cool expression. I'm delighted that I've been able to try something from a distillery that no longer is in active.
It's fun. It's good fun.
It's great crack. And so on that basis, I'm giving it a buy. Graham, you've already bought it. Would you buy another? That's the true check.
Does it get a noosh?
You have to be careful now. Would you honestly buy another?
Yeah,
You would.
because it purely just for that connection,
For sure.
right? And it, because of that time, because of the relationship I've got with that kind of area. But I am absolutely, there's so many lovely grain whiskies out there. And I know that's dying out, so I'm actually not buying it. I'm hunting it out, to be honest. But only for that reason. So I have to say, if I was in those guys' shoes, and yourself, I'd probably be in that kind of same ballpark, to be quite honest with you. But to be honest, I'd forgotten what it is. It has been on the shelf for a while. I've been saving it for a little bit for the special times.
It sits nicely.
But it is a beautiful whiskey. It is still a beautiful whiskey. But yes, I would buy it again. But I totally appreciate where the guys have come from.
Hey, Serena, what do we reckon?
Well, I think with Graham's obsession with those distilleries and the fact that we've got shelves full of whiskies that he feels personally connected to, I'm going to pass.
You don't want to give him another whiskey that he's very connected to?
Another whiskey. I done my piece last time.
No.
Absolutely beautiful. But 350. There's been a couple others that he's let me sample at home. As we do it for the weekends. It's a pass for me. Not at that price. If it weren't 350, that would be different.
Hey, it's got us talking though.
And that's what is so beautiful about these sorts of drams. You know what? How many people have got to try this stuff?
Nobody else today.
Do you know? It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for putting on an awesome show and inviting us absolute fools to chat.
Like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having us here the way you did. Like, it means so much. It's ridiculous that we're here doing what we're doing.
Oh,
but
for
like,
goodness sake.
thank you.
Exactly.
It really does mean a
makes
lot.
This festival work seriously, and we need more of this. And you guys are an integral part of this now. Hopefully,
We'll be back next time. I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
I'm not gonna lean over.
Man.
Cheers.
Sound. Well, with that being said, that wraps up the 3 whiskeys that we wanted to do. There is one more episode here from the Edinburgh Whisky Festival if you want to stay tuned. But thank you so much for joining us, guys. This has been Uncut and Unfiltered with the Edinburgh Whisky Festival. We will see you next time.
Salanjava. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I know what is.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.